Good morning. Hope everybody's doing all right. I am thinking I want to play around some more with this yellow. As I work on this massive Space Marine project, I mean, there is, amongst the stuff that was shipped to me already, there's a Raven Wing army, there's an Iron Hands army, and there's a mechanized edition of at least one of them. I can't recall what they said, if it was Iron Hands or not. I believe it was. But yeah, they own and need to ship me like a multitude of vehicles. I think over the course of the project. I don't know if that's still going to be something that happens, or like if they're going to get somebody else to do that. I don't know. I don't know the details. But I think minor things where I practice a different color or do something that's challenging, like this little shoulder pad in front of me, are going to help keep me creatively sane. And so, while we're on that subject, I'm just over here. We're going to be assembling and priming up a new shoulder pad to work on, and arm. This arm's going to have a knife instead of a gun, but I think that'll be pretty nice. Add me. Well, good morning. I thought I'd take another crack at this yellow armor, and so I'm just priming up, I think, another shoulder pad and arm. We can go with something. Don't quit. Hang on, banana hands. Something a little more stabby this time. But I think this could be fun. Give me another opportunity to practice a little bit differently, number one, and keep me creatively sane as opposed to sitting here and painting the same colors all the time. But to do so, I feel like we're going to have to cut another little rod here. Just going to start our music over top here. Should be good. Okay. But yeah, how was the tail end of your week? Oh no. Tail end of your week. Mute the site. Sorry. I like your shirt, 100% serious. Yeah, it's a, got this over like holiday deals. Like a thermal. It gets cold out here in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure where you're at, but here, I guess I could show this. I have this little chunk of brass that I picked up at the hobby shop. Bought like a several 1-foot sticks of it for not too much money at all. And I snipped these, and I can reuse them. They're about the thickness of a paper clip. They make really good pins. For example, here. I think it's from, I forget where. Either Bass or Lucky, maybe? Maybe it's a Lucky shirt? Just a little knob of glue. All I did was use that cut end to score up the plastic a little bit and make a little indent. I'm losing a glue fight here. I'm sorry. But yeah, I hope the tail end of everybody's week was good, and we're hitting Friday now, so that should be good in any case. Where do I set my Insta set? There it is, hiding behind King Richard. I don't know if you've ever used this Instaset catalyst, but they're pretty good. There we go. Put my big kid Snickers away. I think as I practice with these colors, this time around I'm going to play with a different basing color. I think I want to try like a red. Like I'm going to prime it black, and then I'm going to hit it with a red tone. And then I think I'm going to highlight it with some magenta. I think that'll look good. We're going to find out. Okay. Knew that was going to happen. All right, those are ready to go. And now how come my music isn't playing? What is up? Really? Let's see. What? I wonder what happened here. Let's see. I do not know. Let's give this a shot. Let's see if that plays well. We got, oh, Abby says, I'm in Los Angeles. Had In-N-Out Burger at 12:30. There you go. It's a ghost town there at 12, from 12 to 1. Got my double cheeseburger, beef patty, well done, no onion. Okay. Drove to McDonald's and got French fries extra crispy. That's living right there. That was a first world trip if there's ever been one. We got the zombie dance team leader, and it says, morning, Fluffy. Don't ask, just couldn't think of anything else better to say. Well, there you have it, zombie. And Aaron J. Bang, you absolute legend. What is going on with you and this party of 38? We got Inks in the building. What is up? I'm just kind of getting into the groove here and trying to get my yellows in order. For what that's worth. Give everybody a minute to get through ads and whatnot. I always feel odd asking somebody immediately how their stream was, because every time I end, I know I need a minute. I just need a minute. That's why I'm ending. Aaron says, sup? Well, good morning, Aaron. I hope you've been well. I know schedules are off with the holidays. I've been out a little bit. We're getting back at it. We're cracking. Getting these Space Marines to hell off my table, you know? You can hear me shaking this? There's agitators in here. You don't hear them, though. Let me see if I can knock them loose. That's how you know that the medium in there just really needs shaking up. Aaron says, how are the Space Marines going? They're going really well. There's just a boatload of them. I'm going to have 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 40 that are going to get shipped out by the end of the weekend. Adme says mixing a rum and coke. No, this is that good primer. Badger Stynal Res. I swear by the stuff. It sprays. If you use an airbrush, it sprays super smooth. If you're using just a manual brush, it works that way too. But you want to stipple it in. But it dries super smooth. Got a lot of tooth to it. Musty Painted. Good morning. Yeah, Aaron J. Banks says that Stynal Res sexiness. If you don't know about Stynal Res, that's the only reason why you don't know it's the best. It is so good. And also, for the record, if I endorse something, it's because I like it. I don't get paid by anybody. So, this is that good stuff. Don't let anybody tell you any different. If I don't know anybody that has anything negative to say about Stynal Res, other than if they bought it during the winter months, it may have frozen, and that makes it no good. But they're very upfront about that. Pick it up at the UPS, you know? Have it get held at your post office. But yeah, Musty Painted, how are you doing today? I think we're starting to get to the point where we can actually spray some paint. I'm going to try a different approach on another arm for this color, yellow. My idea would be, Aaron J. Banks says, I would die for a Badger sponsorship for sure. You know why I would enjoy something from Badger? I already have 3 airbrushes on my desk. I had 4. And my 4th one, I cut a deal to a friend who really needed one on a discount. I'm like, well, truthfully, I picked up the Patriot and the Extreme. I have a Sotar and a Renegade Chrome. I gravitate towards the Renegade and the regular Patriot. That's just me. So I pick them up all the time. I didn't know that when I got them. I do use the Sotar a ton, but only because it's so fine, I only really spray inks through it. That's the only reason I don't pick it up more. It's a very, very good airbrush. So I sold my Extreme. Well, technically at this point, because of all the BS that went through, gave it to a friend. Why the hell doesn't my brain work? Damn it, Daniel, another streamer. He was struggling to get a hold of an airbrush. I was like, hey man, I got one sitting. Let's do this. By the time Customs charged him a ton of money, and he had to get. And also, Aaron, are you familiar with Badger airbrushes? Yep, 2 Patriots and a Sotar and a Chrome now, plus an old one. Ignore that question, I just read the answer. So, you know, this is a quick disconnect, but a lot of times with the cork gasket in here, there's a little plug that'll get stuck to it and unscrew itself that holds a spring and the tension baffle that the trigger hits. Well, when my airbrush arrived for Daniel, that was very loose, and he took this off, and there was the spring and the tension piece were both gone. That little valve, missing from Customs. So they charged him because it had value when it came over through Customs to even pick the thing up. Then he had to order parts. It was like a whole thing. I felt so terrible. I was like, you don't owe me anymore. I'm trying to hook you up with a solid. This thing's going to end up costing you retail. That's not right. But yeah, there's no negative review from anybody honest about this product. It is very well understood. The only thing people might say is, I just, rattle can is fine for me. And that's good, but it's not negative about this. Musty says, still ill, but okay, I guess. There's something going around here that just lingers for weeks. It's just gnarly. I don't dig it. Maybe they thought it was dangerous because it has moving parts. I don't know, Aaron. I couldn't tell you. I mean, you could see that the package had been cut open and that they had gone through it. I laughed because of the paintbrush in there. If anything that I was sending him, I thought they would have an issue with the one paintbrush because it was sable. Don't know. I know it used to be a problem, and I checked, and it was no longer, but I wouldn't have thought that an airbrush would have been the thing. Maybe I thought it was some kind of paraphernalia, you know? I think we're good. We've been chit-chatting long enough to get the paint flowing. Aaron says, Chris, how much Stynylrez Black is in that there jug, brother? This is not the biggest jug. This is the second to the biggest jug. I bought this last Black Friday, and I've picked up my painting a ton. I don't know what size this thing is. Whatever the medium size is, or the size down from the big... No, the big one's a 32 ouncer. This is not a 32 ouncer. I think it's a 16. But yeah, over Black Friday they cut a monstrous deal on the primer. It's like con prices. And I ordered one of the black big jugs, and they're white. God damn, homie. Yeah, that's right, Aaron. So, in the interest of what we're doing now and where we're going to be going, so I normally do a typical zenithal prime, and that's what we call good. I was thinking, because I'm working this color into some red tones, into the recesses, that I'm going to prime black, but I think I'm going to start painting over it with red, and then I'm going to build my colors up through magenta into an off-white. And I want to see what that looks like when I just spray. I'm going to go with some yellow-orange ink, just straight out of the... I might water it back a little, cut it back. I'm just going to take it straight over top of what's going to become a zenithal style undertone. But I want to keep the reds in there and see what happens. So we're going to be playing around with that as I plug through a few more Marines this morning. Admi says, okay, where are we at here? Admi says, a Seiko sponsorship is where it's at. And Rolex and Swiss watches. There you go. Seiko's like one of those names. Where are we at here? Aaron says, yep, solidness. How much in there? Aaron says, nice. Mine is the little wimpy 16 or something. I got a 3-pack. Yeah, this size. I have a handful in this size. Just to see if I like them. This red brown is what I use to instead of black in my recipe for underneath this armor. It just makes sense, right? You don't want it to look dead. You need to have life. Admi says, the Black Friday sales were horrible a few months back. I didn't buy anything. Yeah, the only things I ordered... I got the big black primer. I don't believe anything else from Badger this year. You know, their airbrushes are so rock solid. It's like you invest once and then you're good. I think I got a couple minis, but they weren't so much for me. It was for different projects, and I was just like, well, let's get it start. Let's wait a couple weeks and we'll get it started then. You know, it's not going to be done any faster with the holidays, so might as well save a few dollars before the work comes in. It's probably way enough paint. Set this off to the side. Blip. It's just the smoothest primer on Face of the Sun. I don't know. I don't know if you can find me a primer that lays smoother than Stano Res. I'd like to know about it. While still having like the bite that it has to hold paint. Find like 2 little thin coats are the right answer with primer, which is odd because I don't adopt that same principle when it comes to like my actual painting. I tend to paint with as thick a paint as possible. I don't like to work longer than I have to get a thing done, but I feel like I'm still such a new artist that I'm learning how to do that appropriately. It's just my mindset. Oh goodness, smacked the microphone. I'm sorry if that was loud. Admi says I bought my parents a 1750 millimeter bottle for Christmas too, though. Aaron says, "Yep, that's it. They have been very easy to agitate, but have settling issues with the pigments." Yep. What's the compressor? It's fast. It is expensive. I have a very nice compressor. It's an Iwata Studio Pro something or another. I won a 40K tournament years ago, like way back in the Lash of Submission era. I played the Chaos list. It was really popular at the time, and there we go. So yeah, I won. And it says, "Oh snap, mine is a Wada, but the cheap $100 variety with a 16 horsepower pump and tank." Yeah, the compressor is fast. I don't have a lot of reference for what other compressors run at, but I know it's good. Anyhow, I won that tournament, and I got a boatload of store credit. And I took, I should say, I had store credit at this shop already. And with what I had on hand, plus what I had won, I got the compressor and a Titan. Back then, Titans were super rare. I ended up selling the Titan off, but I kept the air compressor. I figured that's useful. But I never, yes, Admi, it is not inexpensive. I would never have bought it otherwise. But I took the compressor, and it came with like a bottom-feeding Iwata airbrush that the store just had. And I didn't use it for years. It sat 3 places I moved since then. And when I decided to get into painting, I was like, let's dust this thing off and finally figure out how to use it. I learned very quickly how ineffective bottom feed, like the screw-on pot airbrushes are for what we do. Aaron says, "Oh my God, the Lash of Submission era. I haven't heard that in a long time." Yeah, I was building a Chaos army for myself, and I was trying to get things together, and then the edition changed. I was like, all right. I've been saving up on a couple of things. I wanted to play Nurgle, and I had heard rumors about the Slanesh coming up, that they were going to be good. And so I was picking up some Noise Marines, and they made the change so you could take their, what was their gun called? I mean, we're talking forever ago. And it says 3 Vindicators, Lash, and ton of LOLs. So I didn't play 3 Vindicators. I played 2 Demon Princes, Wings, Lash. and I played a solid line of Nurgle. Plasma was the thing back then. I played, they had plasma in every unit. They had a power fist in every unit. I think a power fist was a thing. I'm pretty sure that was a thing. And they had their grenades and their plague knives. And then I played a massive line of noise marines with their big old guns. It was the heavy weapon everyone took. Yes, the sonic blaster. Yeah, eventually it needed it. It needed it. So I played the sonic blaster, and then I played like somewhere between 6 and 9 obliterators. I didn't like armor because if it got tagged at all, it was too easy to make it not fire for the round. And obliterators were harder than hell to kill, and they, to go along with that, they didn't get shaken, and they could drop. So you could bunch people up and drop plasma on them with the lashes. Let me find my airbrush thinner. That's just water. Okay, here we are. 1750 milliliter bottle of Patron Silver. Tequila and I are not. That's not one of the things that goes well for me. Well, just put that little drop in there. And here I simply have a mixture of stuff to water down the paint. Where are we at here? Yeah, the obliterator list. That was the real money for me. They were so good. They can take any weapon. It's like, that's good. Like, they had 2 up with an invulnerable. They're dense. Oh, this is probably a little too thin, huh? I think we just had it cleared out. That's better. Aaron says they started back then at tough 5 with 2 wounds. That's correct, which is much rarer than today. It was unprecedented. I think this will be a nice build up to try to keep those rich reds in the shadows. But I don't know. It couldn't. Oh, it might not work out, but we'll find out. It's one of those things where you have an idea and you think, oh, this could be cool. And then, you got to find out if it's going to actually be cool or if it was just bad intuition. I think intuition's a thing you got to indulge. You have to realize when you're making a mistake and when you're going to run into a trap. Aaron says, Dark Eldar Grotesques had 2 wounds from 3rd edition, and Heroes had multiple wounds. That's about it. Maybe Spawn and Obliterators. 2 or more wounds in that old CSM list. CSM. Chaos Space Marine. Yes. Tactical says, don't break it now. I'm trying, Tactical. Trying real hard, it seems, to do just that. Getting a little aggressive over here. I don't know. Friday's apparently going to be a party for me. Alright, so for those joining us, this is going to be another attempt at yellow armor, but we're going to try as we may to get this to come through cleanly. I want the reds in the recesses, and I worked over the course of a couple of glazes to get them to settle the way that they did, but I'm thinking if we start with a red base, that I can get some really nice tones with a lot less work. But that might just be my intuition, and it may not work at all. So it's a little bit of an experiment. So we're going to give that a shot today. Aaron says, well, I'm going to go write a 1,500 point Sisters of Battle list for a game at 3 today. Fun game, so just tossing pretty much everything I've got at them. Have you considered going with orange instead? It might be easier to work up to yellow rather than starting with the red. Well, so Aaron, the full idea, let me see here. Tactical says that might give it a better contrast in the end. So effectively, instead of like the zenithal highlight that I typically do, instead of going from black to white, which is common, or a red-brown to an off-white, which is what I did for my bronze armor over here, what we're going to do is I just put some black primer down. Now we're onto this red color. I'm going to build this up through magenta. This is going to be mostly pink. And then I'm going to go up to like a pinky off-white as my highlight. And give that a shot. I think there's not going to be much of this red, but in the darkest recesses. I just thought this would be something to build up off of. But yeah, I'm hopeful it'll give us some contrast. The question is, do I have that good magenta? Or no? I do have a pink. Oh wait, I do have magenta. Hang on. We don't gotta go far. It's right behind me. Aaron says it'll be interesting regardless of what happens. Yeah, it will be interesting. I can see the magenta already. Get off of me. Well, we're trapped. Forever trapped. Murderous magenta. This is going to be good. I have a good feeling already. We got Doc Holliday. What is with all these legends this morning? Good morning, Doc. How are you now? Magenta. Aaron says, I usually go with yellow highlights on my tanks, rhinos, and I usually start with a dark orange and layer it up to pure white. So I've done it that way with good results before. I haven't tried red, though. I'm interested to see how it turns out. Well, Aaron, you've been painting so long. I feel like when I look at your work, I see an artist that knows a lot of tricks. Every time I see, like, when you approach like a lens, like your effects, they always... Like, I can tell you know what you're doing by the way that you paint them. Same thing with your non-metallics. So, the fact that I'm doing something that doesn't sound right is a little off-putting to me, but probably, oh yeah, that's good. I'm going to say, it just went a little bit more. It got 2 drops instead of 1. Yeah. I think the magenta is a fun tone. And what I'm going to glaze over top of it is going to be a little bit of an orange yellow. Let me show you that. I was thinking about gradually building this up, this yellow orange. And it says, LOL, shit, dude, I'm not trying to give you that vibe. I'm sorry. No, not like that. Not like that. Not like you're saying, hey, no, don't. I wouldn't do that. I completely hear you. I'm just saying, like, you're an experienced artist who knows some tricks. Like, you can tell when somebody that knows what they're doing is taking an approach. I'm going to say something that is in no way reflective of you, even though you're the subject here. But, like, sometimes you'll see somebody that maybe technically isn't as sound as another artist, but they've been at it a while and they know some tricks. Like, you can see that they're doing things in the correct way, even if the overall result isn't the same. Where sometimes you'll see a good result, but they did it wrong. They did it like a roundabout kind of way. So if this continues to do what I think it's going to do, this guy's going to look like a bubblegum pink little boy before things even get underway. Tiger says, oh. Aaron says, I always say you can get from any color to any color, but sometimes color theory makes it not work out. I'm big into color theory. Well, I can tell you that I know nothing about color theory, and so as I try to learn, I've picked up some stuff along the way. And one of the biggest things I've learned is that pigment bias is a real thing, and it can be very frustrating. Because every time you look at a color, like say your primary, right? You got red, blue, and you got yellow. Well, blue and yellow don't always make green. Sometimes they make brown. Why does it make brown? Because you could have a warm blue and a cold yellow, and you have a problem. And yes, yellow can be cold. I shouldn't pretend like I'm telling Aaron that, if he knows the color theory, I should say. To the chat, yellows can be cold. Here we're just going to add a little off-white to the mix, which ought to take our magenta up a little bit. Hopefully that wasn't too much at one time. Here we're starting to get that result. I'm just being much more specific now to where these highlights are coming in, to allow those beautiful tones to stay in those farthest recesses. Just be much more specific there on the highlight area. Shoulder pads are complicated, you know. Don't you dare. Tried to let out a little too much paint. Break my heart. Go with that. That's good. Show this arm a little bit more love. Let's do that. Okay, Aaron says, also, I know what you're saying, and I understand you. you mean no offense, but I want to say that I've been very selective of what techniques I want to use and which ones I don't want to use to achieve a certain look. Yeah, your style. Everybody, I think sometimes people get too tied up in, oh, this is a technique and this is how it's done. No, it's like a tool that you can keep in your arsenal. And like when you look at adding something, it's a question more so of how can you use it best for your style, your technique. Because I don't wet blend the same as everybody. I don't glaze the same as everybody. But I think it's important to learn the multitudes of them and see, like, I don't think every technique is for everybody. Like, you might look at something and say, like, this is not for me. Popular though the thing may become. Aaron says, like, I don't blend very much, but I layer a lot. And that's by design, because I'm going for a high tabletop effect that tries to be very painterly. I love that term, painterly. I love brush strokes. If that makes sense, I like the stained glass look of heavy brush strokes and layering. Absolutely. Aaron says, but no, man, I'm not offended, and you're saying I completely understand. Yeah, I guess when I said that, I was thinking, like, oh, I feel like it sounds as if I'm trying to say, like, specifically to Aaron. I was just adding on to the chat because, maybe somebody in here is not as much a painter and they're just enjoying the sitting back and watching a little bit. I've just added a little more off-white to the mix. Building up those pinks. Okay. Being even more selective if that's possible. Yeah, Aaron, I don't know if you saw, like, when I did my skins here, this has been a lot of wet blending because that's what I like to do. And then I layer on top to some degree. But I think it's like you got to find the tools and then you've got to decide whether or not you want to use them. And then if you're going to use them, it's like, how do you best apply them to your style? And like, I'm sure if you and I were to both paint this with the same colors, we'd get different looks. But I dig the painted look. I love the brush strokes. And even at that, no two people would do it the same. Certainly not if they had their own approach to something. We're going in. I want to get this elbow. I'm nervous it's going to just blob out a bunch of paint. Kind of like that. That's... Whoops. What do you think on that arm? Not a bad effect. We're starting to get that nice rich shadow. I think we take this white up once more, we'll be where we want to be. Aaron says, so often talking about style and technique can come off as elitist. I ignore most of it, although sometimes it can come off as very condescending and patronizing. I don't get that from you, man. Love your work. Yes, I was here for old Vlad, and the blending is perfect for this. Yeah, I think there are camps, absolutely. Some people are like, well, you need to work on this or that. I talked to a legit, like, pro when I was starting, and I was trying to work on different techniques, and I was talking to them about, like, oh, I would love to learn how to do, like, OSL or texturing this and that, and they're like, well, what you should actually do is, I think they said it in a very polite way. They told me this nice story about how they get taken to teach class. Because every time I go somewhere, they want to learn advanced object source lighting. They want to learn high-end, like, texturing and how to do this and that. They want to do all these finishing techniques. Because then I sit there and I explain what it is, and I go around the room like, all of you need to learn how to paint. he's like, I look around, and it's like, we don't need to be doing advanced object source lighting. We need to learn how to, like, you all need to learn how to base coat correctly and build up. Aaron, it was. It was a good story, and it stuck with me. It was a very good story. Obviously, because I'm remembering it now. I don't... That's a great story. He's a very funny dude. I think a lot of painters, even if they don't know that they've learned a lot from him, I think they'll realize that the people that they learned from learned a lot from him. He's such a kind dude. And impossibly fast. Hams Minis comes in and says, hey guys, how's it going? I'm doing well. It seems like everybody else is doing pretty good. AdMe was talking about how they had such an amazing night. They went out at 1 o'clock, or 12 o'clock, midnight, picked up an In-N-Out burger, took off to McDonald's for fries. You know you're having a trashy night when you're hitting up multiple fast food spots to get the correct play at each. Just add a little more out off-white here. We got Sandy Jane. Thank you so much for making the corgi dance. Makes my mornings a little more complete. But yeah, Aaron, when Lovejoy was talking about that, he effectively said, like, just start practicing wet blending. He's like, just do it now. And so I figured I'm new enough that I don't have bad habits. Let's go that way. Aaron says, I wish I could afford to take those classes, but they're so expensive, and they're never anywhere close to me. So on top of that, I have to add hotel, plane, car to getting all my supplies to those things as well. I hear that. I live in Pittsburgh, man. There's nobody coming to Pittsburgh. I'm in a Discord that they're in. They're like, oh, if you'd like to take a class, what areas would you be interested in seeing a class come to? I was like, I put down Pittsburgh, but I'd basically be... I can't promise like 100 people can afford that here. Hell, I really want to go, and I don't know that I could. Okay. What are we doing here? Let's get a little water in this. That is way too much water. No, you don't. That moment when you about drop something on a desk full of models that are near complete. Thing wants to break my heart, I think. Ham says, what airbrush you're using looks nice. This is a Badger Renegade Chrome. One of my favorite airbrushes. You see here. I have the back off of it because that's how I do it. It's sitting here beside me. Gotta clean the tip. Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, now we're getting some paint. Let's do the thing. Doc Holiday says, I hate driving in Pittsburgh. Aaron says, oh, hey, Hams. Sorry, man, didn't say hello earlier. I was heavy riffing. Oh, did I miss you earlier, Hams? Ah, I'm sorry if I did. Ham says, hey, man, just chilling, watching some stuff before I redo that Chaos Night. Says, dude, family in Cheswick, Tarentum, and Springsdale. Oh boy, Tarentum. Going out there by the... if the mills are even still alive. Alright, let's see what we can get on here. That's way too... Alright. Gonna be one of those days. I mean, thank God it's Friday, right? Alright, this is way too wet. We're going to take it back. Just drop out the excess. Go with something a little more opaque. I think we might have nailed it pretty quickly. Doc says 90% of the actual city is 80-degree hills. It is rough to drive. I think we might need a spot of this magenta. What do you think? We gone a little too pale? Probably, maybe I'm being cowardly. Take this thing the hell off of here, I'll tell you that. Very nervous about overspraying this. Very careful. I think that's good. Doc says if you miss a turn, you have to go all the way out and around the city. That's true. Tactical says, so Seattle. Well, at least Seattle is a newer city. Had the opportunity to learn from its lessons. Pittsburgh was out there just doing whatever. Tactical says, yup, Seattle's a lot like that too. Felt right at home there. Doc says, been trying to get Chris to go see a movie in the North Hills, but he's having none of it. Listen, peer pressure will not convince me, Doc. I do want to go see that movie, though. The Ham says, yeah, dude, too hard on the trigger, and you will stuff it right up, looking good. Yeah, it's always a balance, right? Let me make sure we're spraying coming out mostly clean there. Don't fall. Okay, you're falling. You're falling. All right. Pro technique. Clean your needle. Well, I figure we're doing such good work so far. Why not? Why stop this party now? Let's go straight into the inks. Ham says you had 99% hair. There you go. Doc says I have ticket credits from their rewards program, so you wouldn't even have to pay for the ticket. I know, it's just the time. I want to go see the movie too. I want to see Star Wars as well. I still haven't seen it. Okay, let's see what it is. It's time. It's that moment. Well, Aaron, what do we think? Well, I'm gonna murder this thing. Useful for a lot of stuff. Do not, Steven, if you're in the chat, I meant nothing by it. This is not the time. Okay, hang on. Mother! Just had the glue. Drink some water till I find it. Excuse me, I found it. Frances told my wife like 3 weeks ago that I wanted to go see that 1917 with her. At the time, she was like, yeah, whatever. Now guess what? She wants to see it with me. Ah! Nomadic. Can we watch it? Do you actually paint along with Bob Ross on stream? Can we, wait now, can we actually paint along with Bob Ross on stream once? I would do a paint along. If anybody ever wanted to like order the same models, we could do some paint alongs. But that's hard because they cost so much. The glorious one. Look out, everybody. Look at what happened to this. Look at what destruction I've done to this shoulder pad. What a day. Well, we'll have a nice arm for reference. Look, if we had waited like 2 more seconds, we could have had that. But nope, I had to get agitated. I had to knock it off while it's still drying. But yeah, what do you think, Aaron? Do we get the nice? Look at that! Look at that! Look at that damage right there! Oh my God! I'm not battle damage. Stupidity. So the 2 colors do work together, right? Right? It's one of those things that, like Aaron was talking about, how much he loves color theory. I'm like doing some reading, you know, and but you don't know until you try it. It's like that experience is what shows it. Yeah, I think I would just stop there, straight up. I would say that that's a tabletop-ready Marine. You know, varnish them, dark line them, let's jam. Oh, what did I miss? What did I miss? Aaron says, well, I'm waiting on that yellow to happen, but I will say this. When I painted up all my Lamenters with that yellow, every one of my Purity Seals was magenta pink. Well, let's, you know what? I don't have the, this is just a, excuse me. Sorry if I missed chat. We got Oracle in here, and I totally didn't say hi. Oracle, I am so sorry. We're glad to have you in here. Yeah, I don't have the inclination to go back through and fix this and make you guys watch me paint that again, but let's see on a nice big smooth surface what we can get here. Just gonna lay down here in the recesses this nice gold, and then yeah, maybe another coat down there, and then we'll just let's look at it. Let's look at it from a good angle. Let's not. I think that's a pretty good effect, man. Ignoring my silliness. I would say if you want tabletop standard, I think we have a recipe. And I think if you wanted to get in there and start with your edge highlighting and recesses, you could really, really go there. Listen, Doc, I'm going to go see the movie with you. I don't know if I can do it on Saturday. Unless we go early. Like early. God. Aaron says, man, I still need to send my Chrome to Badger for fix, and they sent me a refurbed one for the 54. It didn't work out of the box. Never got around to sending it back. We'll take care of you. They always do. Oracle with the howdy. I think I'm caught up. Yeah, we didn't miss too much. About the Bob Ross. I thought I said something to that. I said, yes, I'd love to do a paint along. Do you mean with actual Bob? Like listen to Bob? What are you talking about? You know what else works? This beautiful gouge I put in it. So dumb. But yeah, I worked back and forth on this for so long to get this effect. I think this is a much more effective base. And you can push the contrast from here. You can start building your highlights and go from there and do more. Painting on a canvas for us. Oh, I don't know how to do 2D paint. Oh, I don't know about that, Doc. You're asking for a lot, son. Adme says Bob Ross is relevant, especially in 20. Hey now, you watch yourself, Adme. Coming in with comments like that. That's what Bob is for. Doc, if I was going to do an exercise like that, I'd have to do it. I mean, we'd have to do that how many times? I'd have to do that for hours. Taco says I did it before, and by the end I was shouting. Just shouting at Bob. Letting him know what it is. Bob is all about just be brave. Like, paint bravely. I'll pull up an episode with Peapod and enjoy myself. Spray a little bit of this out here. It says, alrighty, I'm off to do the maths. Looking good, dude. Have a good morning day stream, everybody. Oh, thank you, Aaron. I'm glad you stuck around to see what the result was going to be. Excellent chat, as always. And I think, yeah, even if we totally destroyed the model, I think it was still an excellent exercise to learn how to do this. Tedro says, Bob paints way too fast to follow along with, and that's the issue. They got a pause on that thing, Tactical. They do have a pause on that thing. The most impressive thing to me about Bob's painting is he never labored over anything. He would paint something and then be done. He would just be like, these are trees. And then if the trees didn't work out, he would say, oh, we'll just turn this into something else. Actually, typically things turned into rocks or trees when he would make a mistake. But he never sat there and like worked and reworked and like this. This was labored over, this one back here, and this one was no effort at all, kind of just, okay, this is going to be our highlights and shadows and be done. But then, you watched me sort of ruin it. Now I wonder, let's put some snow on those trees. That's right, Doc. Let's get some snow on those trees. I wonder, got a little water there. I'm just going to take this purple here, while we're on the subject of learning something, and I'm just going to paint the edges here. Where are we? Make sure I don't have too much excess on the brush. I think that's the number one mistake I see people making with glazing or thinning their paints, is that they leave too much in the brush. I did that all the time. I lose control of it. The paints, they run from me. Don't do this. Amy says, I look forward... Oh, wait a second. Later. There we go. Aaron's out. Aaron, I hope you have a banger of a day. Tactical says, Bob paints way too fast. Yes. Admi says, I look forward to math in college next month. I failed algebra since 7th grade through 12th. Oh, man. Admi, just remember, you can ask questions. Yeah, we're on camera here. Just some watered back purple here. But I think it'll pay off nicely in some of these recesses as a shadow. Man, this thing bums me out that I scratched it. Let's see here. Amy says I'm older now, so I'm like 5% more mature than I was in high school. I won't make it in life with a dead-end job, so I'm gonna be at the library during all my free time to make it. Oh, hey. We live in a very interesting time for information. So, if things come up, heck, you might even be able to get some answers in here. I got a purple belt and looking stuff up, so don't worry about that. What do you think about that purple? The purple does a good job. See, now we're at the stage where I want the guard on here. But I took it off. Just the tiniest, faintest little bit of purple here. Maybe just a little bit too much right there. I think that's good. sure I just dyed that. Perfect. That's why you should not be in a hurry and varnish things. Doc says, where are we at here? Sandy Jane says, you have such a steady hand. Well, thank you. I also make terrible decisions and scratch things while I'm working on them. We were just doing a fun exercise to practice a little bit of orange and ruin things. Doc says, you should have seen how steady it was earlier when he dropped them. Who's got the comments? If anybody's interested, Doc's about ready to quit his day job to pursue a full-time career in comedy. Because he's good like that. Legitimate professional over here. Consummate, even. But jokes aside, I did drop it and I did ruin it. I did. I was like, let's just play around with this and ruin it. And like none of the primer had an opportunity to dry, so it stood no chance of survival. Like zero. Let's get this blade while we're at it. Oop, should not touch that with my finger. Doc says, in Gibbs' character, like the ink stain on my old mat you had, I did leave that there for a long time. The mark of shame. I spilled a bottle of, what was that? Burnt sienna ink, one of my favorite browns. I just left it there. I still have the cutting mat. I just don't do enough cutting and assembly to necessitate it, and I don't like the way it looks on the camera. Actually, I was in another stream and I heard somebody say that it bothers their eyes sometimes, and I thought, I never considered that some people might have an issue viewing a gridded design like that, like a messy background. So I decided, let's go with something clean. Because clean always looks nice for everybody, but the idea that something that was busy could be offensive or bothersome to somebody's eyes, I was like, wow, let's avoid that. Korean Feet Lover? That is a dynamic name. Goodness. Well, good morning. How are you today? If you're just joining us, you missed me destroy this shoulder pad here, and I may paint another one, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I paint another shoulder pad or move on to another project? This thing bums me out. I should probably paint another one, right? Tadio said it did look like coffee at first glance. Yeah, I have a tendency to like wear my shame as a badge of courage. I have to do another shoulder pad, right? I think I have one handy. Let's see. Tago says battle damage. Well, tactical battle damage is understandable when it's not bare darnable plastic. What do you think? Like I could like paint it brown maybe? What color would I even paint a tear like that? I mean, I'm open to trying it if you have a suggestion. On the list of expensive things that I have on hand. Nippers. You can't discount good snips. Where are we here? Just like that. Set that shoulder pad of shame over there. They call me the backseat snipper. Admi says you can't discount the Patriot Act. Oh, we could go down a whole rabbit hole of things you can't discount. That could be fun. Let that start drying a little bit. Don't you? We are going to have one of those days. Okay. Okay. Starting to think that that catalyst didn't come out very well. There we go. A fresh guy. Now what? I think I'm going to find a better way to hold that. I have one right here. Oh, look out. 19 silent. Switched to the wrong end. A big old raid at 29. Well, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Coming over from the silent raid. Raid. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. A wonderful end of their week. Are we right in the middle? What's the next thing to bum me out? For everybody just joining us, I've been playing around with trying to learn how to paint some yellow armor. And so I worked this little ditty up and had a good time with that. And I thought today I might have a recipe to do things more efficiently, do it faster, if that makes sense. Trying to get to like, how do I get a Space Marine army to look good? And so I practiced with some different colors. And this particular grip has a big handle, and it was bothering me while I was airbrushing. I was like, oh, I'm taking this thing off. And so I did, and then I did this. Look at that. Look at this beautiful, just destruction, ruiner of things. So, yeah. You're going to get to see the whole process right quick here, because we're going to do... Aw, Shy. Good day, sir. How are you now? What a bummer. Set that aside. So we're going to go over this yellow once more. Shy, I hope you heard my explanation on how I destroyed a shoulder pad. Shy says Silence says, I hate to do this, bud, but I gotta run, gotta fix son's Xbox and cook before work. Yellow looks aces. Well, thank you so much, and I know how it goes. I feel that same way often when I'm like Raid and Dash. Like, hi, hope everything's going well. You're killing it with this, by the way, bye. Gotta get running. But yeah, I snapped this off its little holder. Took a big shatter because none of it's dried. I did this all in like just a few minutes. Roughly 48 total with chat. So here we go again. Shy says, I'm wonderful, mate, hoping full of hope and joy again. Your 2D work has been not in any way to get into like your 3D work, but I know you'd been saying you hadn't really been feeling it, but I'll tell you something, I've been feeling what you've been showing. On all fronts. So we're gonna, maybe this is a better thing, because I wanted to see like how quickly can we start bringing things up to a reasonable standard. And maybe this will just further help us enjoy that endeavor. Let's just get everything. Oh, I forgot I was coming to the front there. I left it a little wide open. Sleeping on the gas, so to speak. Sorry, everybody. We got Clan Wolf says good morning. Shy says, I had a big old black cloud over me for many months, but it's clearing up now. Shy is coming back, baby. I love it, man. I've been so busy with the end of the year. I haven't been able to catch too many streams throughout the day to even pop in and say hi. Not very often, you know. I like to at least come in and say what's up to like you and Modfly, but it just has not been the case. For those just joining us, I'm working on a new approach to the yellow armor, and I dig in the effect. Absolutely, I think that the amount of time it takes to get to here is very, very fast. But yeah, I ruined the shoulder pad. I ruined it. Clan Wolf, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Just a beautiful, look at that gouge. I'm taking so many pictures of that, I'm putting it everywhere. It's gonna be my new freaking, if it would read across as my icon, I would make it my icon. Shame. So we're gonna do another one real quick here. Mr. Shy says, good to see you again sometime, mate, but I know real life is a thing. Are you on this afternoon? So also, I have an apple cream Danish, so I'm feeling invincible. Shy, you're invincible. I'll let you know up front, that's invincibility. We got the genuine vision. Look out, everybody. How are you today, you legend? I'm feeling feisty enough to fight Shy over a Danish, I'll tell you that. So this build-up for the undertone, get in there, is a red base. I'm going to try to do this slowly. Make sure I don't have any. I think with a color that is so transparent like yellow, you have to have a solid like undercoat. I think it's super, super important. Like with some things, I get it, the undercoat means a lot, but I don't think it's negotiable with colors like this yellow. James says, pass. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Says, no, sir, Friday is an off day. That's good. I mean, off days are healthy, and I can't do a Saturday this week because my stuff is being moved to the new gaff on Saturday. Do you think it's the... do you think a big part of your mood change has been the fact that this opportunity is finally moving on? January says, doing okay, pal. Busy day ahead. And Shine wants to go halvesies. Jan isn't interested in half of your Danish. He wants all of it. No Danish, no love. He'll fight over the Danish. Don't test him. You've changed. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Let's get this red rocking. This is not at all the proper consistency. Let's see what we can do. You know what we can do? Let's put a little more red in this. Getting all these hurries. You know, I'm trying to base coat some glazy ass paint. I think we're getting an effect here. And we'll leave that darkened. I'll let this excess clean up before I can smooth it over. Just a little bit of that consistency being off. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, better. Shy says, well, the move couldn't happen until the black cloud was shifted, but I wasn't the one in control of that cloud, so it's kind of all interlinked. But it's mostly due to my disgusting, awful ex-business partner doing 10 minutes of paperwork so that I can move on with my life. Well, Shy, I'm glad things are in a better place. Always, like, sometimes just hearing that somebody else had a win can help your whole day, right? Shai says it's only taken him 6 months to kindly give me those 10 minutes of his time. So kind. Such a generous person, you know. Taking time like that. How fucking people. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a bummer. Right now we're just mixing up some magenta. Craig Gold. Well, good morning, Craig. Shai says, but anyway, all that is done now, and I can finally get back to being me.
life is pretty good when you fall in love with the world every day. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. God, Shy. Just weak comedy. If anybody's interested, I'm pretty straightforward with it. Not a big fan of the puns, so if you want to hit me with them, hit me with them. I'll just sit here and cringe. Alright, let's start with this magenta. Leave a little bit of that red in the recesses, but not much. I think where the red made the most sense was actually on the arm. But I think up here on the shoulder pad, it's not going to be very much. Like at all. And then the multitudes of off-whites. Glenlo says, yes, it is. Tactical says, I liked it. Shy says, your compressor sounds like Trevor when me and Jen get home from being out all day. Just how has life with a cat been? Probably just always better, right? Learn Train Play says, hey, Chris, still working on those Marines, huh? Absolutely. Just taking a little mental health break here to work on some yellow. But I actually ruined my shoulder pad. I'll show you. I dropped him off his little stand. So the other day we worked up this particular guy here, this little yellow, which I shared on social. And today, over the course of not much time, we got up to a much, I think, a competitive standard. You can even see a little chip here on the bottom of it, but I'm not worried so much about that. And then, so when that fell, it chipped him there. And look what it did to his shoulder pad. Look at that. Look at that chunker right there. Really, really upsetting me. So we're doing a quick build up for another shoulder pad. Shy says, mate, he's a little land shark. I love him. He has 2 modes, 12 ounces of death or a little fuzzy cuddle peach. First he'd like to kill, and then he'd like to rest. Like most cats, I think that's just the way they play. Practice their tactics. Just building up these pinky highlights here. I know this sounds weird, but I'm just doing a little color theory thought here. And I like the result. Everybody always said to use browns, but I think you get a much more vibrant color off the pinks. Shai says, I bought him a laser pen, and it came with with catnip-filled mouse. He's been living his best life the last few days. Loving that little cat herb. I'm just going to spray most of that excess out, and now we'll mix in a little bit more white. Young Trevor. How old was he when you got him, Shy? We'll see if that was enough or not. Yeah, maybe. Maybe too much. Let's find out. That seems good. Where are we? Here, I'm just going to try and clip the top of this to keep some spraying like above, but hopefully it comes down here. So he's like 18 weeks now. That's good. 10 weeks when we got him. Wow, has it been that long? Seems like only yesterday we were sitting here waiting on him to come. St. Jane, Learn Trade Place says, got new disciples, a Zench book, and the wording has left a lot of people confused in some places. What's going on in the book there, Learn Trade? Prawn Shark _ trail. I'm going to look that up. Shaw, you can link in here. I mean, that's absolutely relevant to everybody's interest. I can't imagine anybody in here isn't familiar with that Mr. Shy, but if not, you should give him a follow. Shy is a fantastic streamer and an incredibly talented artist. It is to speak nothing of his talent in selecting a beautiful cat. Okay. Yeah, Shy, why don't you link your stuff too? I don't have mods, and I don't have anything to, like, automate. Actually, if anybody in here is streaming, we got Shy. I don't believe Clan Wolf does. Tactical's in here. Doc's in here. I feel like we're so... like, everybody in here knows one another, so it's like, you know they stream. Okay, is this a happy birthday song? What is happening? Get out of here. What just happened? What's this now? Go away. You can go Learn Train. Yeah, share up what everybody's working on. I've got no time. I got to catch up with this. But you guys share amongst one another. Okay. So, now, I'm going to spray this yellow orange ink over top of this pink mess, and we're going to get something. Are we ready? How about that? From a nice red to a bright golden yellow and back again. Now, we're not going to drop this one. Okay, we're not going to do that. Don't you dare. Such a bummer. Put a little water in there. Shai says beautiful, way quicker than how I did it on that Space Wolf. I think that there's still a point where you fuss with bringing in some scarlet into the shadows and some purple in your lining. and like really create a varied tone. But I think as far as like a base coat, I think it's a beautiful base coat. Like just you can do that undercoating so fast. But I was like theory crafting and I was watching some videos on it and like, okay, so it makes sense and people are seeing success with it, but can I replicate? So that was today's exercise. Let's see if it can be replicated. And we'll get him connected to the stabby boy. The only thing I did here was line him in some purple. But that was for fun. Let's take a moment and do the ever important thing. Oh, listen to this now. Show your face around here. How have you been, Daniel? I just saw him streaming last night. Like, I haven't seen Daniel with the holidays in like a while. Just doing some edging here. This is easier than it looks. That said, I mess it up all the time. Tactical Booty says, hey, been missing you. That's what I'm saying, Daniel. Been missing you. Hadn't seen you in Yonk's Lad. I don't know what a yonk is, but I feel like it's been a minute. Oh, God. Straighten out this arm here and try to... Oh, dear Lord. No. No. No, no, no! Dear sweet paint gods, don't do this to me. Not on this, my second attempt at a shoulder pad. It's the part where a sane person might tell me to get a normal sized paintbrush. Where are we? Everybody shouts out. Oh, Clam, I've got a post here. Give me a moment. Shy said I felt Chris bum wink then. Just a little bit of this. No, 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 no. Dip Dab says it's Shy, definitely British if you are using the word yonks. Clam says, and now he's found one of my empty paint cups. Give me a second. I'm going to pull that up. You should always probably put a coat of varnish on before you do stuff like this. It's not a matter of if you make a mistake, it's a matter of when. Oh boy, let's go. Boom! don't know if I can touch this up or not, but we'll give it a shot. What a terrible, like, cautionary tale this morning has been. We'll get these connected shortly. Thank you. Falling. Oh, Clan Wolf with the Kiki. I like cats. They're little savages. 13 pounds of trouble in a fuzzy container. Here you go. He's like, cats always look at you when they get worked up. They're like, does this look like a game to you? Like I'm playing? This is not going to be a game. Shy says, your cat weighs 13 pounds. What is he, a lion? Nah, he's a stocky like a dwarf. Short helps in combat. Clanwolf says, short legs, can't jump really well, but he's solid and long. It's like an advertisement on a dating app. Watch yourself, Clanwolf. Tactical Booty says, I have one that weighs over 20. Look at Tactical Booty coming in with a legitimate chonker. Shy says, Trev can throw hands. He don't play. He don't want to taste these paws. Yeah, Trevor's just a baby. But he doesn't know. They never know that they're smaller or babies or any of that. They always think that they're big cats and just super game. Read my comment about Brendan's banner. Yonka's a very long time. There you go. Midlander paint mate. Okay. Let's see if we can catch up here. He said no. No means no. Shoulder pad. Daniel needs coffee. Get out of here. Don't forget my talent in selecting a beautiful woman either. Oh, Shy. You dog. Shy got game. There it is. Hitting it up. Okay. What are the odds I can snap these off their pins and connect them to one another without a problem? Minimal. There we go. Don't you dare. Let's be real, Chris. Jenny is the best thing about me. Well, Shy, as we sit here and struggle to find something good about you, you're correct. From a technical standpoint. That's my favorite form of correct. Hee. I think that's better. Now bloody varnish. That would be the move, huh? Just get some varnish on it immediately. That's so silly. Just so silly. So yeah, not a bad. I think that can be replicated very, very quickly. Varnished, dark lined. Ooh, a little quick on that spin. Shai says, one day I aspire, or I dream of ascending to the lofty heights of mediocrity. Yeah, that's incredibly fast. And that's no edge highlighting, that's no anything relevant to like shading or actual technical application. That's just your base coat. And I think for a color that people are afraid of, that's pretty good. Okay, there we are. Sandy Jane says it looks great. Thank you so much for the compliment. Oh, Inks! Clem says, look, I can either channel my ancestral English or I can come down there and channel my ancestral Viking. Take your pick. Oh, no! Shai says, can you imagine, though, Chris? The crowd's all losing their minds and the golf claps and cheers. Yeah, not bad, I suppose. We got Amberan 1 with a big old follow. Thank you so much for making the corgi dance. Oh, be so lucky. This Shai says, that damn it, Daniel. Weston Superman? What happened? I missed something from Daniel? There he is. It's Superman. There you go. Ooh, at Mr. Shai, that's a tough one. Quimo says that Nomadic, with that red and yellow and orange, you should make it Primaris chapter called Sun Warriors. Do them all Mesoamerican. Oh, that'd be sweet. I think I'll make a nice Iron Hand, truthfully. Damn, Daniel says, I love me some Weston Mud. Oh, man. Welcome, Amber Ann. Yeah, welcome. Just taking a break from a big commission. Do something different for a little bit. Shai says, for the non-English, Weston Supermere, M-E-R-E, is a really crappy seaside town in mine, in Daniel's part of the country. Ink says, the Dark Angels are Native American type of Space Marine already? The Dark Angels. Sorry. Ignore me. Clanov says, why is it super then? What? Why is it? No. Clanov says, Ink's not really. I don't know, the Dark Angels got a little something. I'm going to take a picture of this before I mess it up. But I don't think I have time to get into anything else here today. So we might as well try to advance this model. Where's my other brush? There we go. All right, let's see here. I'm going to test it down in this shadow. There's way too much paint. Take it to that next level. A little bit more pop. Chaos Engine says so smooth. I'm sorry, guys. I've been terrible with the chat. We have Peter. I'm just going to read through this real quick as you guys are talking to yourselves mostly. I had one guy named Native American Style Monster. I think they had to upgrade to three-legged donkeys. Get out of here, Daniel. What is going on in this town, you two? What do we think? Where's my purple? Blackside Doug. Well, thank you so much. Welcome. Chaos Engine saying so smooth. That Shy says you are named after the one of the greatest video games ever made. Shy says that Chris, Southwestern humor is what's going on. I'll stay out of it. All right, let's see if we can't pop this purple in here without causing a disaster. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Okay. Southwestern English humor. Welcome, Doug. Yeah. Chaos Engine says, damn right. Blackside Doug says, thanks to Clan Wolf. Hope everybody's having a good day. I know we're here at the end of the week. Not too bad. We got Zang Mac in the building. There's another legend. Playing around with some yellow paint today. What do you think I should dark line him with? Should it be done with It shouldn't be black, right? It should be a brown of some sort. What would you dark line a color like this in? I really do enjoy this effect over what I had initially. This one's been highlighted more. For sure that's happened. And I could take this one to that degree. But this one in my left hand has had no edge highlighting, no complete pan lining. Burnt umber wouldn't be a bad choice at all. It's got a nice, or burnt sienna, something with a lot of red in it. Still be dark. I kind of wonder. Let's have a peek here. I think actually bringing the highlights up just a skosh might help this endeavor. I'm just going to take some very bright yellow. It'd be, personally I'm using Cygnus yellow. It's very, very bright from P3. I'm adding in a spot of my gold ink to it. I need a spot more. Just gauging by what I'm seeing here. Let's see what we can do with some fingers. Let's hit that next level. Sorry if I bumped the mic there. Max says, yeah, like more orange stuff for sure. It was a lot easier to get to this point, to say the least. It's like that old quote about writing, like everybody's first draft is garbage, right? It's not a knock on like anybody specific. It's just like whatever your talent level is, you're going to find more of it over the course of your process, whatever that might be. Just hit these little edges. Not too bad at all. That's that 3rd degree of separation, I think. Sandy Jane says, how long have you been painting for? Just over 2 years. There's a lot of artists that they break out so many tricks. They show me things all the time. I just need to learn. I don't know them. I think I was blessed with a steady hand, and then I just sit and I watch and I try to learn. And that's what this is. This is just me practicing with the yellows. Like, this was Wednesday. Here we are on Friday. Black says it's why Moses had to get the second draft of the commandments, right? Well, Moses didn't write those. I believe that was the acacia bush. Okay. What the hell? Thank you for the follow, I suppose. What's the over-under on you not being a robot? Is it good? Chaos Engine says, my problem is I change my mind way too much and don't give enough time to what I am wanting to get good at. Well, you're not a robot, hopefully. But thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I'm not going to say your name. Maybe I'll call you Yeet. Yeet could work. Robot detected. Beep boop. I think yellow's kind of reacts in the same way as like a red. I think that's the most important way to look at like art in general is today is victory over what you did yesterday, and tomorrow you can crush what you did today. One thing I've learned is that you don't always need to get a brighter color to get it to show up brighter. You simply need to further saturate what you're working with. It says Yeet is cool. Alright, Yeet. Welcome to the stream. Are you yourself an artist, or are you just swinging through for something different to have a look at? What do you think, Shy? Should I do darker little centers on these panels on the elbow? I'm thinking I should. Okay, I'll send you, or anybody for that matter. There's plenty of good artists in here could give advice. Oh, it's already 7:35. Look out, everybody. We're going to have to... This is going to get a big old wrap up here soon. We should have been out of here 5 minutes ago. Blackside Doug says, I wouldn't go too dark. The high contrast could throw off the smooth blends. You might be right about that. That maybe was a mistake. Throw a gloriously... Wait a second. Throw a gloriously massive raid into Daniel. Yeah, that's a good call. Shy says, today is kind of day where customers are coming into a vape shop to ask if we sell screws and screwdrivers. Maybe they are in the right place, Shy. Breathe, Shy. Remember, it's all sunshine and happiness. Rainbows and kittens, Shy. Rainbows and kittens. All right, everybody. This has been absolutely wonderful. We do have to get this ball rolling. The morning has to come to an end. Work. You got to be able to buy the paints, you know. And your support, it goes very far, but it can only go so far. I think we've knocked down what yellow base coats are going to look like. Chaos Engine, thank you so much for stopping in. Blackside Doug, man, it's been great meeting so many new faces. Yeet, I feel like we barely met, but it's been wonderful so far. We're going to go check out another fantastic artist, one of the greats. Also, for those new here that don't know Mr. Shy, that don't know Tactical Booty, that don't know Inksa Kitsune, incredible people. We're meeting Sandy Jane. We're meeting Add Me Friend. We're meeting all these new people. They're great. Okay, let's go check out Daniel. Let him know where the love's at, because he's been away for a while, and it's good to have him back. For everybody else, have an excellent weekend. Do something new. Go do something fun. We'll catch y'all later. Thank you, Yeet. We'll catch you on the next one. We're Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Pretty consistent schedule. Do some pop-ups here and there. All right, everybody. Shy, you dog you. All right. Everybody have a good day.
Oh, welcome to the party. Chris, you sexy little devil, you. I was watching you. You're still on my screen. Yeah, we did. Wow. I nearly said it. I like it. It's awesome. Hey, how you doing, guys? Thank you so much, Chris. Guys, if you don't know who the amazing Chris is, Nomadic Chris, he is an amazing artist. He's been doing some yellow. I've been excited for this yellow. This yellow is amazing. If you haven't checked it, go and check his VOD later. And I know you're going to have to shoot off, Chris, but thank you so much for that raid, my friend. And welcome in, guys. I can't shout him out, but to be fair, most of you came from him, so welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Nearly got him. Yeah, I nearly did. I was there. I was like, oh, are you? That's a good one, though. That's pretty good. I'm impressed with that one. I yeet come. Brilliant. Well, congratulations. Black Sight Doug, thank you so much for that follow, my friend. And welcome in, guys. Welcome in. And thank you so much for that raid, dude. It means a lot. That's a massive raid. That'll buck my spirits up this morning. We did stream last night. We streamed until 5 in the morning UK time, and then we just went mad. Amber, thank you so much. What one are you working on? So this is actually a Dip Dab. Thank you so much for that follow, my friend. Welcome in, welcome in.